Hello Stampers, this is super awesome Stamper Shirley Merker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wisconsin, USA. In this video, I am sharing how to create a hand-stamped greeting card using the Storybook Gnomes product suite. So here are the pattern papers. So the front side is shown here and the back side is shown right directly behind it. So I wanted to give a look at all of these gorgeous patterns. Who doesn't love a mushroom house, right? Trees, woodland animals, snowflakes, more of a scene, house and little mini gnomes, more snowflakes. So if you don't like the mushrooms, you can certainly do snowflakes. And then this is the pattern that I'm using today on my project. So that's the pattern paper from the Storybook Gnomes Suite. And here is the greeting card that I will be making with you today. So Bundle Bonus is a program where if you purchase a bundle of products from me, you get a PDF idea file emailed to you as a thank you for ordering that bundle. Now for July, we are showcasing any bundle of products in the July to December catalog. So you'll get a wide variety of projects in that PDF file. So let's get started making this greeting card. My base is Starry Sky. And then there's that pattern paper. So I'm in the US, so my base is the 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. And then my first layer, I generally do a DSP layer. I don't do a cardstock layer because I don't want to waste any of my pretty pattern paper. So I just cut it down 1/4 inch on all sides. Oh, and I knew my adhesive was going to be running out, so I have another one at the ready. Right there. All right, so my pattern paper for me measures 4 by 5 1/4. For those in the metric market, it would be 10 by 14.4 centimeters. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time getting this started. You got to get it started wherever that adhesive is. There we go. Okay. Need to get the adhesive grabbing on paper before it will start to roll. Okay. Next, we have got a piece of this soft suede. Now, I just went into my scrap bin to see what I had, and I had some paper that was actually the perfect height, so 3 inches, and then I cut it to 1.75 so that I could fit the little girl gnome on there. And I'm going to pull in the Starry Sky Metallic Woven ribbon. So I'd like to use instant color and pops of pretty. And ribbon does that, but we do not have to always add a bow when we're using ribbon. We can do some fun twisty things. So this one I am just doing back and forth and back and forth. You can see that back there. And the top and bottom row, I will end straight. So the ones in the middle are going at a diagonal, but the top and the bottom are straight. Okay. And then I will add some tear and tape over that, because even though there's adhesive on the soft suede cardstock, there's not enough adhesive over the ribbon to keep that attached to the pattern paper. So the soft suede measures 1.75 inches by 3 inches, or 4.4 by 7.7 centimeters. Again, just go in your scrap bin and see what you have that will frame your little whatever gnome shape that you decide to add to your card. And this I'm just going to put right there just lightly because I need to tuck that snowflake in there. So let's pull in the snowflake. So the snowflakes, you get 24 in a pack. They're called Wonderful Snowflakes. They're already die cut. They are a carryover item from last year's catalog. Look how easy it is to use these. You just separate it from the sheet. Each little tip of the snowflake is attached. So just be careful when you're pulling on that you're not severing a snowflake. arm. Now there's a front and a back side to this. One side is shiny. Hopefully you can see that. One side is matte. I want the shiny piece up. And I will just attach that with one glue dot in the center. So I kind of tucked it under there. And then I had this going over my sentiment, which can be about right there. I'm going to watch to make sure on the left-hand side my snowflakes are not off the cardstock because then it won't fit in my envelope. And I can have it going a little bit into that matte, the Starry Sky matte. Okay. Next, another scrap in my scrap bin. So I see this one is a little wider than that one. So it just fits the width of your pattern paper. So here's my actual scrap bin. Let's see if I can find one that was the same width as my card. Oh, nope. I think I managed just to pick the one that was a little less wide. Well, let's put that on there. Maybe you'll like that instead. So that measures 4 by 3/4 inches. Or for the metric people, that would be 10 centimeters by, let's put that in there, 1.9 centimeters. Again, just a scrap. And maybe I won't like that once we put this in the sentiment. Now the sentiment I've pre-stamped. It is because I wanted to make sure it was straight. And all I did was, it's about 3.5 centimeters or inches this way. But I just cut some off. So it was half of an inch by about 3.5 inches, or 1.4 by about 8.5 centimeters. And then we're gonna make a homemade flag. So use your paper snips. Cut through the center and then cut from the side to wherever you made your slit. It's kind of hard to see in my lights here where I'm at. So that's how we used to make flags before we had punches. All right, now let's see if I like this wider band here. And I think I do. Again, I'm not going to mess with it. I don't need to cut it down a little bit. I probably wouldn't get it straight anyway, so let's just leave it. I love using my scrap bin because it's easy pieces that I don't have to do additional cutting for. And I generally pull out that scrap bin each time I make a card to see if there's something in there that I can use. Especially if it's just one card, I'm not making a lot of them. There. Just like that. Okay, then I'm just going to use some tape runner. All right, and then the inside, I'm going to do a little different because this was the piece that after I cut off my two pieces right here, the 4 by 5.25 inches, this is what was left. So I only had one piece of that, and I wasn't willing to cut that in half to spread it out between two cards because I like that scene right there. So what I'm going to do for this one instead is grab my soft suede. I'm going to grab the stamp that I'm actually going to put in the card or on the outside of the card, and I'm just going to stamp down there. So we're going to get some gnome feet peeking out, and then, oops, let's see if we can get the hat up there as well. Something like that. Cute, right? Use what you have. Don't create any more scraps if you don't have to. And using ink is a economical way to jazz up a card. So that's going to be my inside there. All right, the last thing that we need to do is focus on our focal point. So go ahead and look in your scrap bin and find a piece of paper that you can stamp your image on. Here's my current scrap. And pulling in the soft suede again. Let's see where I can stamp it and then die cut it out. Stamp it. And then before I close up my ink pad, here is the sentiment. So it's hard to get this straight on camera. That's why I pre-stamped it. It's a cling stamp set with the red rubber, so you can't see through it for where you are adding your ink to your paper. Now I'm going to show you how I roll this through our Stampin' Cut embossing machine. Here's our Stampin' Cut embossing machine. The base and then the additional platforms have got pictures and numbers to show you how to build your sandwich. So we are using the thin dies. So our sandwich is the base plate 1, a number 2, which is this one, and then a 3, which is the clear. Oh, I need to pull this back a little bit. 3, then our paper, and then our die, and then another 3. Now, a trick to make sure the die doesn't move is to grab a Post-it note and you use the sticky part. You put it over the inside of what you're cutting, over the die, and onto the extra paper right there. And that will hold that die in place while we're running it through the embossing machine. Another 3 on the top. And then run it through. Sorry for the jiggle. My camera stand is on the same stand that I run my embossing machine on. All right. You just pull your Post-it note off and pull your die cut image out, and we're ready to rock and roll. I've opted to cover my little gnome girl with some Stampin' Right markers. So I'm going to start with the Saffron, the fat tip, as indicated by that thicker line. And all I'm doing is brushing down her hair. I'm not going to worry about covering every spot of the image, because if you leave some white space, that does leave some interest. Her hair has all these other lines in it too to add interest and contrast. What I like about our Stampin' Right markers is that all you need is a very light touch to add the color to your image. So I'm adding color a little different way than what I did on my sample. I am doing a single brush stroke. And I'm using my brush stroke to add interest. So I'm following the hat all the way up from right to left. And where there is overlap of ink, there'll be a little bit of a shadow. All right, so for my sample card, I used 2 brush strokes. I went up this side, left to the center, you can see right there. And then I came up this side. I don't like that very as well as just a single brush stroke. Okay, and then I use, this is the rich razzleberry, because who doesn't want rich razzleberry for a hat and accents on the apron? So the collar and the buttons and the little cuff. Now I think I'm going to color a little differently. I'm going to do the inside right there. And then she does have an apron here, so we're going to do the apron in rich razzleberry. Again, just very light touch. Okay, and let's do the tips of her shoes. So my goal is to do like every other for contrast. Make sure you click that cap shut. That way it stays nice and moist inside. And then this is the Highland Heather. So I'll come in everywhere else and do the Highland Heather for contrast. Again, just a light touch. Now the Stampin' Up markers are a great half price item if you get to the half price posting level. So keep that in mind if you're placing a large July to December order, catalog order, or any kind of order. And you get all of the colors in that, in the many marvelous markers. So I had to take a break and look in the catalog. We still do have the many marvelous marker set, so it is a great half price item. You get 40 markers plus that carrying case, storage case with that item number, and I'll show you that at the catalog tour at the end. Okay, so now we're going to pop my little gnome girl up with some dimensionals. And then if you look close on my sample card, I do have an additional embellishment over the snowflake center, right there, and then a few on the inside. So these are in the July to December catalog as well. They're the adhesive back sequins. Now I like them because they have got purplish tones, but they're not in the same kind of design motif as the snowflake. So the snowflake's got delicate, kind of Nordic. The starry back sequins, the adhesive back stars, are really stars. They've got a sharp star edge. So instead of adding the stars, I'm going to pull in these fine sparkle adhesive back gems that are part of this suite, and we're going to add a few of those details. A few of these, and you can add a comment below and let me know if you like this detail instead. So blue one there. I'm going to put any on the inside. How about do we like one right here for her button, just one single button? Yeah, we're going to do that. All right, so you can leave me a comment below and let me know if you like the fine sparkle adhesive back gems on the card or the adhesive back stars. Two different looks, two different embellishments. All right, so here is the catalog tour, and I'll show you the products. So the gnome dies is how where you get the dies to cut out the images in the Kindest gnome stamp set. And then most of the products that I used are from the July to December 2022 catalog. It is available for download at my blog at superawesomestamper.com. So on page 17 are the adhesive back stars. And then page 42 and 43, this is the Storybook Gnome Suite. So here are the fine sparkle adhesive back gems. Also contains the Snowfall Accents Puff Paint. I used it for a little thing to see if I liked it on my card, and I didn't, so you'll have to check back my YouTube channel for additional uses with that puff paint. And then the wonderful snowflakes, they're hard to miss because they're right here on page 45. It just shows one right here and then a few on the samples right there. So you get 24 pieces in a package. And then in the Anio catalog, of course, I used the cardstock, the Starry Sky for my base, and soft suede for accents, and then basic white as well. And then on page 126, here is where the many marvelous markers are listed. Right there, you get 40 colors in the color collections plus basic black, and then the carrying case. So again, great half price item. And the ribbon that I used was the metallic woven ribbon in the Starry Sky. So thanks for coming along with me and purchasing the bundle. Any kind of bundle from the July to December catalog will earn you the PDF that we are offering for the July 2022 edition. And here is my card again featuring the Storybook Gnomes product suite. All right, thanks for watching with me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button before you head out, and we'll stamp with you soon. Bye.